Y'all ready?
3.
All right.
2.
Oh shit!
1. Paint plates. Paint plates.
Let it rip. Dreidel, let it rip. All right. Anyways.
What the fuck is today? What is this? What is my life? Is this what my life is now?
Hey guys, it's Jacob and from Team TYC. We're here with Nick. Nick,
Hey.
what do you got with us?
Oh, you know. Well, so I got Blaus.
That boy.
So
Swag.
this deck is getting support, a lot of support in the Stargate booster, and I thought it'd be interesting to go over. I personally love this deck. It's weird because it interacts with the game much differently than most decks do now, so it's something to look out for in the future. I don't know how great it's gonna do, but definitely the new Blau Stride is gonna do something.
Okay.
So the starter is Morganrot. This card's insane. It's just good. When my Vanguard hits and he boosted, I can kind of bust 1, and if I do, I can look top 3, get a Blau. That's pretty good. It doesn't seem like it's good, but it'll make sense later.
You search your deck for a grade 3 Blau?
You search top 3, so you do some gold palette stuff. It's really good because it offers Nova Grappler hand advantage, something they desperately need.
All right.
Moving along. For grade 3s, I run 1 Stern Blau Cougar,
Okay.
just because sentimental reasons. And on top of that, if I can get Galaxy on top of him, 13k is a big deal. Like if you guys seen a new, what's his face, Bravest Victor Grand Gallop, 13k is it's a pretty good base to start with. So that's always nice to have.
All right.
I run 2 Volmond, whatever you want to pronounce that.
Limit break.
Limit break. Most of the grade 3s are limit break.
Okay.
And break rides. So this card is actually surprisingly good. What it does is it denies your opponent the ability to guard with Sentinels if you break ride it. Sure, you can get G-guard and everything, but it's just strong, especially if you go into it on top of itself, or you take the next grade 3, which is Mont.
Okay.
It can get a little nutty. On top of that, he countercharges you. So a lot of what this deck likes to do is it's a lot of early game runs. Like turn 2 is probably one of your strongest turns because you're not G restricted, you're not, really name restricted. You're just, everything in this deck's pretty much Blau, and you're just going in hot and heavy every turn.
Okay.
The next grade 3 we have is Mont, like I mentioned. This is probably your main ride target always. Even if you ride it on top of this or you get it with the Stride, it's just a good card. And what he does is when you break ride, plus 10k, and when your Vanguard attacks, counter plus 1, stand all your rear guards.
That's pretty strong.
It's really strong. There's a new guy coming out that does the same thing, except it gives, I think, everyone 5k or something like that. Don't quote me. I'm not super interested in him because while it makes your rear guards big, at the same time it's not super Vanguard focused, which is what Blaus seem to want to do.
Okay.
Like a lot of the new support does help with that, but it would be interesting to see. If you can't get your hands on these, I do recommend getting the new one, and it'll be super cheap, and it'll totally be worth it.
Okay.
But if you can, I do like this card. I do prefer it. Next we run 3 Galaxy. This is your boy. This is your bread and butter.
The bread and butter.
Your main Stride, both old and the new one coming out, are pretty much to get you this guy.
Even though it's
break ride.
Even though it's limit break.
Even though it's limit break, because what you do is he reads when he hits or any of your rear guards hits, counter blast 2, ditch 2, stand his column.
Ooh. So
more than likely you're attacking with him, and if he hits, you can stand him up right there. Now your guys got triggers. If you broke road him, that's great. And then if you want to be super aggressive, you're gonna attack with your rear guards first. Oh hey, look, they hit. That's fine. You get extra points of damage in. You break ride. I attack. Counter blast 1. And now you got more attackers. These guys are stood. You get another volley to go in there. It's just super aggressive. So I mean, this guy's been reprinted. This is probably your main ride target. You can do other shenanigans. I know there's one of the Blaus from the Winter Collection or the Fighters Collections that people are using too. I do like that card, but I just prefer Galaxy Blau Cougar.
Okay.
All right.
That's understandable.
Next.
So how many grade 3s is this?
So we run 8, and the reason we actually run 8 is because the Stride fodder for Blaus is awful. And so you always, number 1, want to break ride. You always want to break ride. Even You sometimes prefer to break ride over striding. It wins you games. It comes out of nowhere for most people, and it's far more productive than it sounds.
Okay.
But just overall, we run 8 just because we want to break ride and we want to stride.
Okay.
You can run the Victor stride fodder. I do recommend that. I run Neptune just because he's synergy.
Okay.
And that's just my opinion, because you can whiff off Mond if you're not careful.
That's fair.
For grade 2s, we run 4 Blau. He is your main ride target. And he is the reason why turn 2 is your strongest turn. And I'll get into that in a second after going over the other grade 2 choices. But his skill is, if you have a Blau Panzer in your soul, he gets +1. And then when he hits, you countercharge 1. That doesn't sound like it's a big deal, but it gets kind of intense because you really want to run 4 Mars.
Alright. What does Mars do?
What Mars says is, on the rearguard circle, when your Vanguard with Blau in its name attacks and it hits, you counterblast 1 and you stand this unit and give it +5. Why is that good? Well, turn 2, if you have 1 or 2 of him, and let's see, hypothetical, this is not hypothetical, this is probably what's going to happen. You go attack something, it doesn't matter what at that point, but then you attack this to Vanguard and they're really forced to block. They have to block your grade 2 attack because if you hit, you activate Morgenrot first, you search, you get something, so you get hand advantage, then you countercharge, then you can stand this for a 3rd or 4th attack at plus a trigger.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good, so you can pressure your opponent to, 3, 4, depending on how lenient they're playing, 5 damage even on turn 2. It gets kind of nuts. We run 3 Uranus Blau.
Uranus.
You want
yeah, okay.
I don't like this card at all. In fact, it's just kind of there to be filler.
Okay.
This says when your unit with Blau in its card name is placed on the Vanguard circle by riding or striding, this unit gets +5k and he gets Mars' skill. So he's a crappier version of Mars because he has to be turned on. That's awful. I'll tell you right now.
Uranus has to be turned on.
Uranus has to. Uranus has to be turned on. Everyone, you need lube. I don't care how much they say. More is always better. But seriously though, it's not a great card.
What would you take out in exchange for it?
Well, there's a couple new options coming up, and realistically, you really just have to playtest. Like, there's a lot of crazy options. I would almost say the damage controller from either the way back sets, I don't remember what its name is, or the new Blau damage controller might actually be better than him because he lets you, number 1, turn on break ride if you're striding, because the new Blau does Sun skill at 4 instead of 5, and you can heal, which is a big deal.
All right.
So it turns on your triggers. It turns on your heals.
Okay. It turns stuff on where Uranus cannot.
My Anus turns no one on. All right. Then we run, 4 perfect guard.
That's it. Only 8 grade 2s.
Only? No. This was.
Oh, 12.
Yeah. No, it's 11.
Oh, 3 Uranus. You're right. Okay.
It's 11.
Okay.
Because Blau Cougar.
Yeah, sorry.
4 perfect guard. It's name specific. You need it. It's cool. It's a Gundam. It's doing its thing.
It's a PG.
PG.
Does PG things.
Staples are staples.
Yep. Gotta survive.
Then we run 4 Venus.
All right.
This card has the potential to be really good. It really depends because when this says GB1, when the card in front of it is stood, this stands and +3k, making him a 10k booster. So it's strong in its own right, but a lot of the problem is when you do, let's say, your Mond turn, he stands because of Mond skill and doesn't get the power. But if you're on Volmond, got these names,
Mond, Volmond.
Mond, Volmond, they're all Monds. If you do Volmond skill, your Vanguards might hit, so that sets up your Mars turns. It can even set up a Uranus turn.
All right.
And then that's just a more powerful column. So we run that at 4. Also, it's just a generic 7k. Like, there's nothing super great to run that slot. I would take these out for the other stride fodder if you felt like it. And I mean, like, these guys are just
The
names.
Victor Stride Fighter you were
The
talking
Victor
about?
Stride Fighter, that is correct.
Okay.
Then we run
Neptune.
4 Neptune, because he is still Stride Fighter, and he's bad. Let's not beat around the bush, he's not the greatest, but when you have a Blau in your soul, he becomes Stride Fighter. That's the reason why he's not very good right off the gate. But when he is Stride Fighter, when you discard him, you call him to a rear guard circle.
So he becomes an instant 7k booster.
Yes, you get to stride for playing him as a rear guard, more or less, and that's pretty great. That's pretty strong.
That is pretty good.
But you have to get there, and that's the hard part. For the last card for the grade ones, we do a surprise tech of 2
Flower Ray Leprechaun.
This card is deceptively good. It is a grade 1 Mars Blau Cougar, meaning that when your Vanguard hits, counter +1, stand it +5, so she becomes a 12k beater. It's just, it can really catch your opponent off guard, and it combos with Venus. So, you know, you can go to 22 real quick.
All right.
For triggers,
Triggers.
we run
4 Wall
Boy. For memes, there's no reason, for memes. Then we run 2 Gone, 2 3 minutes.
3 minutes!
That's all you ever need with Blau Cougar.
You just need meme triggers and you'll be fine.
Triggers. For minimum riser, it's funny. I would run the Victor trigger, but I think this is just in character for the deck. It's hilarious.
Alright, fair enough. I dig it.
And then, on a serious note, for Red Lightning,
The best Nova Grappler crit trigger.
it's really good. It's probably the best Nova Grappler. I agree. It is the best Nova Grappler crit trigger because you just put in the soul, countercharge 1. That's insane in a new Victor coming out. That's the same. It's insane in Blau Cougar. It's insane in like half the Nova Grappler decks.
Because it just gets you back that counterblast.
And you want to do things all the time. with
Yeah.
Nova Grapplers. For G guards, we run 1. God, I can never pronounce your name.
Gungreed.
Gungeed.
That boy.
He's interesting because he says when you activate a skill, which is flip up a G guard, your Vanguard essentially gets the skill. As long as it's not hit, you countercharge 1, and that can for Blaus be insane, especially on weak turns your opponent has. You have G guard and you had an early game rush. You use 3 counterblasts. You can just activate him, and you can gain all that counterblast back. Granted, you have to drop that hand, but still, it's just strong, and it can turn on your plays for the following turn.
Alright. It essentially becomes like another Red Lightning.
Yes. Then I run 3. God, again, I can't pronounce these names. Junior. Sorry, internet. He's deceptively good. I run him at 3 mainly because this deck likes to counterblast a lot. So when you have it, he generally becomes a 20k shield, and he countercharges you 2. So he gets you back resources. On top of that, Volmon's skill says when a Blau unit in his card name attack and hits the Vanguard, you can Soul Blast 1, countercharge 1. So even if you were playing aggressively and this was your Vanguard, and you Soul Blasted everything, he could still be a 20k shield, and then put Blaus into your soul. And one of the weird combos and this is like the dream, is that he'll put a grade 3 Blau into your soul.
Ooh.
And that turns on your Stride Fodder.
That is
And that's insane. So that's just why I like running it. Like, I like to play this deck very aggressively. Now on to the actual...
So it's a very rush-oriented deck
It
for
really
you.
is. For me it is, and I think for a
Okay.
lot of people it is. You can play it more conservatively, but I wouldn't.
Okay.
We play 1 GB8.
The best GBA.
The best GB8.
The best GBA.
He does Alia Muda Muda. He's really in here just as a one of. I mean, it's not good. You're never gonna get to it. But in the situation where you do, he can save you. Like all GB8s. But other than that, you're never gonna get to him. In fact, you may not even break 2nd, 3rd, 4th stride. You may just break ride forever.
To be fair, if you ever do get there, you essentially have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. But
7 attacks.
7 attacks. But the thing is, with this deck, you can even get 9 attacks on your break ride turns. So it's all about having the foresight to make the right calls.
Oh, okay.
Favorite Champ Victor is like your win condition. If you have the hand and you're at GB2, I think the math is if you're at 8 cards in hand or 5 cards in hand.
Okay.
When you go to 8, you get to attack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times,
Ooh.
which is usually enough to finish off your opponent.
Ooh.
And because you get Morganrot, who nets you card advantage at the cost of counterblast, it can happen, and it can happen quicker than you think.
And what is that? GB what?
This is GB2.
Oh, boy.
So like even if you go into your Gun Greed, I'm gonna butcher his name. Sorry. You go into him, you flip up. Hey, look.
Victor's live.
If you have 6 cards in hand or 5 cards in hand, he's live.
He's live.
And
Prepare to die.
That's just death. We run then
Sown.
3 Son, whatever, German. He's deceptively good. He may be your first stride just because he gets you Stride Father for the following turn. I'll be completely honest with you. I will replace this with a new Blau because being at Ultimate Break, Limit Break 5, is awful. And there have been multiple games where I've lost because I was at 5 and I healed on his attack. Because that turns off his skill. You're no longer at Limit Break 5. Red text gets, he has the red text, but he doesn't have the condition.
Okay.
So that is why the new Galaxy Blau, or whatever the new stride is so strong. It's deceptively strong, and I think that's why they also printed the self-damagers with it.
Okay.
But yeah, this card is just good to go into if you have nothing else to do. 2, Victor
The
Plasma.
$30 card of Victor Plasma.
Is he $30?
Yes.
I don't understand why.
Last time I checked, he was.
Well, he's pretty good in Victor, and he's actually good in Blau's, because again, it's just another attack. Like, Counterblast 2, I'm gonna hit you. No? Alright. I'm gonna try it again. Hey, I hit you that time? Okay, cool. My Marses are now online. Counterblast 2 again. You have a lot of ways to get, to countercharge with this deck. So he can just be a really great beat stick. And I wouldn't run him at 4. 2's an appropriate number.
Okay.
Like it's either he's kind of hit or miss.
Okay. You wouldn't run 1, but you wouldn't run more than 3.
He has to flip himself.
Oh.
So it's like 2 or 4.
Okay.
Mandatory. 2 of the Victor. I do this just because it is a self-flipping stride. So if I need to be at GB2 for anything, or I'm going, first stride, I don't have heal triggers in hand, I want to go into favorite champ, he gets me there.
Okay.
Again, he's just a strong card, and he will turn on Victor triggers for you. So if you're running those, he turns them on, and it makes it good. Then we play...
I can dig it.
3 of this boy.
Bustard.
Bustard is busted. He's really great first stride too, because he flips up a copy, he gets you at GB2, and then he stands something, so he auto gives you at least 4 attacks. And then if you have 2 copies of him face up, when you go into this third one, you can flip up whatever the hell you want, and then he'll attack again. So he's a mix of, this minus the power boost, and Victor Plasma.
Pretty strong.
So he's pretty strong. You can run him at 4. He's just a good card.
All right.
3's just enough for me. And yeah, that's Blau's, guys.
That's it?
That's
all
it.
right.
See you later.
So, we're not done yet.
Oh, we're not done yet?
No,
Oh,
we're not
okay.
done yet. So, final thoughts about this deck.
So it has a lot of potential. It has, I think I played a match with it against Alexandros on the channel, and it can't stand up to that kind of thing. There's a lot of aggression against it. You can win against Chaos. It's hard. You need to plan out everything correctly, but the break right turns can't save you. Again, this is a deck a lot of people don't expect to ever face.
Okay.
So getting into, your golden boys can really
Your
surprise
Galaxy
them.
Volmond and Mond.
Like, if you go against Chaos, this is probably your main ride target, because you just, you can't Sentinel, and they probably have hand, but you can do it in a way where, depending upon your meta, maybe you run more of him, maybe you run less, but, you can do that into that, and win the game, possibly.
Okay.
The same with Mond, if you're playing more aggressive decks that don't have a lot of hand advantage, like Victor in the earlier game, you can get away with this by getting off all of your attacks. Because again, when you break right him, plus 10k, 21k column, attack, 26, these guys stand, so 5 attacks. Depending if you damage control them or not, You can go in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then if you're lucky, 7, 8, and you know
maybe 9.
Maybe 9. If you time everything right and you get super lucky, but I mean like that's a lot of attacks.
Okay.
So I think this is a sleeper, and with the new support coming out, this guy may become irrelevant. He may become more relevant. It's up to you guys to decide, and yeah, I hope you liked it.
All right. Now, the most important question I feel like everyone should know. Who would you recommend this to in terms of beginner to, like, just... Who would you recommend this to?
Honestly, if anyone is starting out Vanguard, and I want an aggressive deck, I would recommend buying maybe 3 or 4 of this card, Galaxy, and 1 Morganrot, because this is the best Blau Cougar starter, just of all time. And then with the Stargate support coming out, because of the volume people buy boxes, you'll be able to get all of his support for dirt cheap. So this is a great budget option for a ton of players.
All right.
You don't need Mars's, because there's other cards coming out, but Mars is a good card. But again, with all the budget options and all the things you'll be able to do, this is a great deck for new players. And it lets you kind of ease into Victor, kind of. But that's kind of a whole nother build, which you guys will see on the channel later on.
Okay. Thank you, Nick. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Share the fucking video if you want. And as always, we'll see you guys. You guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.